สวัสดีค่ะคุณสบายดีไหมคะ Hi, today I'm going to explain to you a bit about how I go about my language learning, so my language and learning process. First of all, I make sure that I have something sweet to nourish my brain and some water on hand. I always want to have that while I am studying to keep my brain hydrated. I want to make sure I have my supplies, whether they be the books, a dictionary, some pens, some markers. Then I wanted to share with you some ways that I actually study. So I am using two books. One is Complete Thai, another one is Study Thai Language by Yvonne. So what I do with this book is I open it up and I read and study what I can. I verbally study, so I get the expressive part down, and then I can actually hear myself pronouncing the words. I can feel like where my tongue is placed in my mouth. And then from there, I like to, in a notebook or pieces of paper, I like to copyright part of my studies. And this gets the kinesthetic part of language and learning down, so I can visually see it, and then I can kinesthetically feel myself writing it. Though I know this is not actual Thai language, this for now is how I am studying to understand the pronunciation of the language. The book does not include tone markers, so I go ahead and I look in my dictionary and I find how to spell them, and then add the tone markers to the words. From this book, what I do is I write down any new words that I get from the book, words that I feel that would be helpful. Perhaps I would be able to use them in my language lesson, and words that I can use later to look up in the dictionary to actually know how to write them correctly in the Thai language. Like this one, I thought, ooh, okay, so kun yao. I thought, well, I could probably know how to write it. So I looked it up, and yep, I know all of those characters. So that totally made sense. And then I could take that, and that helps me to be able to pronounce it a little bit better. The next thing I like to do is I have purchased a little book, and it is specifically for after my language lessons. During the language lessons, I have pencil and paper with me, and I'm writing down things that I'm learning in the class. But afterwards, I like to put them in a more well-organized book. So questions that I might use in my lessons or in actual life once I eventually go to Thailand. Then I like to note, I like to write the month, and then the date. So by writing this month for every lesson, I am repeating how to write it in this way. Like I said, again, eventually I will write it for every lesson in the actual Thai language. But I have words or phrases that I learned during my lesson that my teacher had used in just regular conversation that I did not have in my lesson material. So I can go back and hopefully use these in future lessons. Another thing that I have done is I have gone and copied the keyboard. This one had blown away. Okay, I had copied the Thai keyboard from the computer. I found a website and I copied that. And what I did, I love using markers. So with the pink, I outlined the keys that I am pretty familiar with. I use them quite often. With the green outline keys, these are new characters or letters that I am learning. So I went ahead and outlined those. The orange ones are for keys that look really similar to me. So I'm getting confused and kind of confused on where they are on the keyboard. And eventually I will tape these to a piece of paper. See, this one is when you actually open the keyboard at first, and then this one is when you push shift and then you see the numbers up here. But so what I will eventually do is I'll be able to take this paper with me outside the home, and because I'm a visual learner, I'll be able to just look around and see where things are positioned, and maybe even kind of type out some words. I can bring a few words with me and kind of find them on the keyboard and get more comfortable with the keyboard, because currently I'm just using the keyboard as it's on the computer, so it's kind of difficult for me. So if I learn this away from my actual studies, when I'm more relaxed, maybe this will be able to sink in and I'll be able to remember where these items are. Now the last thing I like to do is I like to keep in my daily planner specifically for my language learning. It's for Thai and Czech, because I am learning both, and I use both of these all of these studies methods for Czech as well. But I like to write down what I actually did each day. For one, this gives me an idea of what I have accomplished, and it shows me basically the amount of time, though I don't write down the minutes. It gives me an idea of what I did and how long it takes. Sometimes I haven't filled in Tuesdays yet, which is today, but I have watched a video on YouTube with people speaking Thai. I try to listen to see any new words. I listen for words that I already know. I stop the video. I set the video for 75%, and I try to watch it that way if their voice is not poorly or badly distorted. And I repeatedly watch the videos again and again and again, so this really helps me to ingrain the audio part of my language learning. So, as I said, all of these things that I showed you today, I incorporate in my Czech studies as well as my Thai studies. I try to organize before I start my work and make sure I write really clean notes. I do copywriting of actual articles in the language, and I also have a little checkbook for the new words that I learned from my Czech lessons as well. So all of these things have really been helpful for me, and I hope they've been helpful. They can be helpful for you. If you wouldn't mind leaving a comment below that would be greatly appreciated. I think people who are watching would really benefit from all of the collective ideas that we have for language learning. And with that, ขอบคุณค่ะ สวัสดีค่ะ Bye ค่ะ